So, this will be the start of the top cut of the winner trip to London Challenge. And this will be the top 16 against OVGC. Maybe it's OWEVGC, because that's what I heard on the stream. But I'm just going to say OVGC. And he's going to be running a Rain team. And I'm not too experienced with this team against Rain. Like, I do have Ninetales, but it doesn't have the Focus Sash, so can't take a Hydro Vortex. But yeah, like, I'm not looking forward to this, because I never like facing Rain unless I have, like, my Worlds team, because that has a really good matchup against Rain. But just weather in general I don't like facing. But I'm going to lead off with Mandibuzz and Tapu Lele, because I'm pretty sure Mandibuzz can take a Hydro Vortex and get Tailwinds up. But he's going to lead off with his Psychic mode, and I'm going to go for just straightforward attacks here. Moonblast onto Tapu Lele, Foul Play onto Metagross. Now, I did actually have a calc open saying that Foul Play KO'd Metagross, but that had Helping Hand attached to it, and I didn't realise that. So I'm going to lose my Mandibuzz, expecting the Foul Play to KO the Metagross. So I don't get any Tailwind here, but I'm still in a good position, because I can still go for the Moonblast, because I did 50%, but of course, the high roll is lying to me. I do get lucky with the special attack drop, but I would say that's actually a little bit unlucky, because he goes for Moonblast into Xurkitree. He would have brought me down to my berry, and I would have had more HP than I would have done if he didn't get the special attack drop. But I'm still in a fine position, because I am Scarfed. I can take out the Tapu Koko here, and my Xurkitree does outspeed his Lele, because I'm pretty sure it specs at this point, and my Xurkitree outspeeds most normal specs Leles, because they're usually pretty bulky. But this is still a fine position. He could have Bullet Punch on his Metagross, and I'm pretty sure it's banded at this point as well. But I'm going to switch out into my Ninetales to try and get the Psychic Terrain back, so that I can stop any potential Bullet Punches. He does reveal Bullet Punch. If he'd have gone for it into Ninetales, that would have been fine as well, because I'd have gone straight back into Tapu Lele, being able to threaten the Koko and the Metagross with KOs. But now I'm going to stop any Bullet Punches this time, because I'm pretty sure he's banded. He's going to read into the Lele switch in, though, and switch out to his Pelipper, and it also stops any potential Aurora Veils. But my Ninetales is able to take the Volt Switch, which is really nice. And I do go for Icy Wind here, not for an Aurora Veil, because he obviously had the Pelipper in the back, potentially threatening to stop my Aurora Veil, and it would catch the Tapu Koko as well, but it's slower than my Ninetales. But I'm going to switch back into Xurkitree here, because I do expect the Koko switch out and the Bullet Punch into Tapu Lele, but if he does that into Ninetales as well, that's fine with me as well, because that still gives me the switch back into Tapu Lele to stop the Bullet Punch, and he is banded into that Bullet Punch, so he does have to switch it out, but at this point I can just go for a Dazzling Gleam and Thunderbolt, and I've locked up the game. So like, scouting for the Bullet Punches worked out pretty well. The fact that he Bullet Punched Ninetales was even better for me. I'd have preferred to lose Ninetales there, and it worked out pretty well. So I'm going to take this game one, because I just go for a Dazzling Gleam and a Thunderbolt, because he is choice banded. He can't go for Bullet Punches in Psychic Terrain, so I'll just outspeed and KO him there. So that was quite a nice game one. He didn't bring his Golduck though, and that's always the most annoying thing to face. But this time, he's going to switch it up to Double Duck. I'm pretty sure I'm going to still lead with Mandibuzz Tapu Lele. Yes, I am. So I can take a Hydro Vortex with Mandibuzz, but not with Tapu Lele. And I do want to stop this Rain here, so I'm going to switch out. He should know my Lele Scarfed at this point, so the Hydro Vortex is pretty free into that slot. And I'm going to sacrifice Ninetales here just to get rid of his Rain, and I'm going to match his Tailwinds here with my Mandibuzz. I do outspeed his Pelipper as well, which is good to know. But yeah, here he just needs to get his Rain back up, because I have sacrificed his Ninetales, sacrificed my Ninetales more like. So if he switches out his Pelipper, then he'll be able to get his Rain back up. So I do want to try and KO this Golduck while I can, but he smartly protects from my pretty obvious Thunderbolt. I could have punished this, but yeah, it was a good protect from him, because if he lost his Golduck, then he couldn't make use of his Rain. And if he sacrifices Pelipper here, then he has Rain for the rest of the match, and then his Golduck will be able to outspeed me. But he's going to Volt Switch into my Mandibuzz, and that still does a lot of damage, even though it's just a Volt Switch with my Special Defense boost. But here, I am going to roost off the electric damage that I took, and I am going to KO the Pelipper, but this gives him the free switch back into Golduck here. Now here, I think the Hydro Pump into Xurkitree is very, very obvious, so I'm just going to attack with Xurkitree, and I do manage to catch the Golduck, which is really, really nice. If it had gone for Hydro Pump, that would have KO'd Xurkitree, but I figured like the Protect was super obvious, and he does not double into it, but he does still Moonblast into Xurkitree, just to cover that if I attacked, but it doesn't knock me out, which is nice. And yeah, I'm really pleased with that play, because he could have very easily Hydro Pumped me there. He does Thunder my Xurkitree, which knocks me out with a critical hit, which is really unfortunate, but also quite funny for what's coming up. I'll tell you why afterwards, but he's going to Moonblast my Mandibuzz. And it doesn't quite take me out, it does 75% though, but I know that my Lele is in the back, and it can come in and KO this Tapu Koko. He doesn't protect it, which is really nice for me. and I do outspeed his Tapu Lele with both my Pokemon. So I do threaten the damage onto it. He's going to Moonblast and not get the special attack drop. So I'm going to be able to attack him before he attacks me, and I get a Moonblast critical hit in response to him. So, quite fortunate, but it does equal out the critical hit from him. And also, I'm pretty sure, because he did 75% to my Mandibuzz last time, a regular Moonblast plus 2 Foul Plays could have had the potential to knock out his Tapu Lele. So even if it didn't, then I had a very good chance of living with Mandibuzz anyway, because it did 75% before, and I'm on 76%. So maybe the end game would have come down to rolls, but the 2 critical hits were very important. But it was funny seeing him tweet that he lost to a critical hit, considering he crit my Xurkitree, which would have, if he didn't crit me, then I'd have 100% won the game. And even if I didn't crit the Tapu Lele there, I could have still KO'd with 2 Foul Plays after a Moonblast. And if I needed to, could have potentially survived his Moonblast and got 3 Foul Plays off for the win. So it was quite funny seeing him complain about the critical hit. But yeah, we both got a useful critical hit. But I'm going to move on to the top 8 now. So that's really good. 1 game away from winning some money, because top 4 actually does get prizes. So I really, really want to win this match. But it is something like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning at this point. So I am actually starting to get quite tired. But I'm going to face Captain Hook. I have no idea, but it's actually Lucas Muller, so he was playing under an alt, and I had no idea. But he's going to be running, effectively, I guess, would you call this Pado's team? Because I would call this Pado's team, even though Peter was the most recent successful user of this team. But yeah, we got a Ninetales Mirror, which I actually really like when using this team. I'm going to effectively double into the Ninetales here with Icy Wind and Psychic. It doesn't quite knock it out, so that does show it's a more bulky one, which does imply it's not Focus Sash as well. But he's going to Snarl as well, so that's not such a big deal, because I still can threaten the Ninetales with a knockout here. But if I go for an Encore into the Ninetales slot, because he's now slower than me guaranteed, and I switch into my Garchomp, that is a free switch, just so long as I Encore. Even though he's going to switch out his Ninetales, the Encore was the correct play, I think, because it does give me my free switch into Garchomp. He does KO my Ninetales, but that's not so bad, because I can set up here, because I've got my Garchomp into position, he's not really threatening me, and surely I can go for a Swords Dance here, maybe even a Swords Dance and Tail Glow, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be a scrub right now and go for a Protect Earthquake, when that was a pretty free Swords Dance and Tail Glow right there, so I very disagree with my, my past self, but then again, it was quite late, so maybe I'm not making all the optimal plays every time, because I am quite tired at this point. I definitely preferred to see Swords Dance and Tail Glow there, but yeah, I'm going to expect his Garchomp to be faster than mine, because I always play as if it is, but learning that I'm faster here is really good information. Now, I was fine losing Xurkitree here, because if I get my Swords Dance up, and he attacks my Xurkitree with his Garchomp, that means I've got my Swords Dance, and I can bring in my Tapu Lele here and threaten the KO on his Garchomp, and I have seen now that he doesn't have Celesteela, so I was fine sacrificing Xurkitree there, because I didn't feel like I needed it so much, because I can just spam Moonblast into the Garchomp slot. I can Tech Rage what was the Arcanine, it still catches the Muck on the switch in, which is fine, because that's still a KO, and I can still threaten the Moonblast onto this Garchomp, and then just an Earthquake. I will have to Earthquake myself, but that's fine, because I've learned that I'm faster than the Garchomp. The Aurora Veil actually does save his Garchomp, so if he was faster, that could have been very awkward, but learning that I was faster, I felt pretty safe Earthquaking myself anyway. Because he's got Tapu Lele on his team, I didn't think his Arcanine would have extreme speed, but here, I can just go for the Scarf Moonblast as well, and pick off the Ninetales, so I'm going to take game 1 here, which was quite nice. Sacrificing Xurkitree worked out pretty well, so that I could get my Swords Dance up, but now I'm only 1 game away from prize money, so hopefully I can win at least one of these next 2 and get a lot more than my money's back and make well, it's already the best run in this Win a Trip to X Challenge already, but yeah, I'm going to leave with Arcanine and Tapu Lele here. He's going to lead with his Lele and Garchomp. So I'm going to, I think I Moonblast the Tapu Lele here when I could have Moonblasted the Garchomp, but I'm looking back, it looks like I'm calling the Protect there, but I guess Will-O-Wisp into the Garchomp makes sense to cover that as well. But here, I'm going to Helping Hand Moonblast, because he has just Protected. I'm going to ensure the KO on it, because he may have had enough bulk to survive a Moonblast based on the fact he was slower than my Garchomp. But yeah, like Helping Hand Moonblast is definitely going to KO that Garchomp, because I already know he's not Assault Vest, but he did switch things up, bringing Celesteela here. So I already know all of his Pokemon. He didn't bring his own Ninetales, so my Garchomp is a pretty safe switch, and I'm actually going to double switch here, so that I can start threatening the setup immediately. he switches out into his Tapu Lele. I don't know the item at this point, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Choice Scarf, because that's what it is on this team usually. But the Xurkitree is a lot more of a threat than my Garchomp here, so I'm going to switch out to preserve the Xurkitree, because I do need that. I guess I could have saved Arcanine for the Celesteela, but yeah, I thought that the Xurkitree would be the target of the Psychic rather than Garchomp with the Moonblast. Tech Rage isn't enough to knock out the Tapu Lele, unfortunately, so it looks like it's a bulky Scarf one. But here, I do threaten the knockout on both his Tapu Lele with both my Pokemon, but because I know that he's locked into Psychic, I can go for a Protect Earthquake. That would have KO'd the Tapu Lele if it had stayed in and Psychicked, and it also catches the Arcanine on the switch in case he wants to reset his Tapu Lele. But yeah, that works out pretty nicely, because I can go for a Rock Tomb to KO the Arcanine, because it didn't quite activate its Berry, which was really nice. And I do land the Will-O-Wisp on Celesteela as well, after he reveals Substitute, so it's just going to be Heavy Slam 1, which is fine. Because I do know that Tapu Lele's Choice Scarf at this point, I can just double into it with an Earthquake and a Flare Blitz here, because regardless of what he does, the Tapu Lele will be knocked out. If he attacks into the Arcanine, then I wouldn't be Earthquaking myself, because it would have been KO'd anyway, but knocking that out ensures that my Xurkitree wins. Because here, I can Flare Blitz and knock out the Substitute of the Celesteela. If I'd have lost my Arcanine, that would have been fine. 2 Thunderbolts would have knocked out the Xurkitree. Or maybe it would have been bulky enough to take the first one, but then I could have still broken the Substitute with something else, because I still had Tapu Lele in the back, and the Psychic would break the Substitute, Celesteela. But I'm going to just Flare Blitz, break the Substitute, get the Tail Glow up, and then go for the Helping Hand Thunderbolts. Overkill a little bit, but there we go. Celesteela goes down, and I move on into the top 4 of the Win a Trip to London challenge. So I have, at this point, earned at least $100, which is fantastic, because the entry fee was $15. So I've already made quite a lot of money off of this. So, of course, I want to win the first prize, which was about $1,600. So hopefully I can still get my focus throughout these last 2 matches, or last 2 rounds. Because it's very, very late for me at this point. It's something like 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe even getting close to 5 at this point. But yeah, we'll be moving on to top 4 and hopefully the final in tomorrow's episode. So I look forward to that. Thanks for watching.